Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you watch this channel. Of course, you have seen stories about a resignation letter that Matiang'i submitted to the World Bank because Matiang'i wants to invest his time in unseating William Samoei Ruto. Now, if you check that picture on your screen, that's a newspaper, and the front cover is all about Matiang'i's resignation. So that confirms to you that right now everybody seems to be talking about Matiang'i and his resignation move. So I'm told, based on a story here, that Matiang'i is set to return on June 21st to continue with his 2027 presidential campaign. And what has it that he has had a very, very influential and very powerful company to man his elections. So Matiang'i is very serious about making William Ruto a one-term president. So I would like us to go through this resignation of Matiang'i, the move, and the possible chances of Matiang'i. Though I use though very cautiously, that there is someone, also who is someone well known in the Kisii community, who does not share the belief that Matiang'i will most likely win. I mean, anasema kwamba hizo ni stories za jaba. So I'm going to share that video also here for you to get to understand what other Kisii people are saying. So before we get further on this story, ladies and gentlemen, kindly support this channel by liking this video to enable you to share it to many people. Also subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed before, and to our existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Matiang'i came during what people believed was some kind of a leave, so his off days. So he came, tested the waters, and the homecoming of Dr. Fred Matiang'i was magnificent. You all saw the videos when he toured Kisii counties. Now, Matiang'i realized that really this is his time. Of course, there's also something I'm going to share with you about the problem that is facing the United Opposition faction, that is now one that's led by Kalonzo Musyoka. Since Matiang'i is going to come back, and it has already been confirmed, the resignation and the next move of Matiang'i, how many of you, this is just a question I'm posing to you, how many of you believe that Dr. Fred Matiang'i is going to be the flag bearer and not Kalonzo Musyoka? How many of you believe that Dr. Fred Matiang'i is going to be the flag bearer of the United Opposition and not Kalonzo Musyoka? You know why I'm asking that question? Because the Kamba people believe that it is their time. The Kisii people also believe that this is an opportunity presented to them and they must take advantage of it. We all know that right now, Gachagua is going to shelve his ambitions of becoming the president, almost like the deputy president, because of the impeachment tag. But in 2032, I am looking at a Gachagua who is going to bounce back, either as a flag bearer or as a deputy, or rather a running mate. That is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. But now Gachagua is going to shelve his ambitions because of the tag of the impeachment tag that is still bothering him. So let's focus on Matiang'i, because if you go to online outlets, online feeds right now, like for instance BT News, there's something here they've shared about Matiang'i, and it says Dr. Fred Matiang'i has officially resigned from his job as a World Bank staffer in Washington. The former Interior Cabinet Secretary is expected to jet back to Kenya within 3 weeks in a 2027 general election political gamble. So he has resigned, you know, and he's going to be here to try to unseat William Ruto, or to stop William Ruto from becoming a two-term president. to make William Ruto one of the shortest serving president, one term. So earlier on I posed a question to you about the possibility of Kalonzo Musyoka becoming a running flag bearer, and the possibility of Dr. Fred Matiang'i becoming a flag bearer. Of course, there's the issue here of communities. Kisii vis-a-vis, Kisii against the Kamba Nation. Who is going to allow the other to run for presidency? Matiang'i looks at this as the most appropriate time for him to test the waters and run for presidency. Of course, Nyanza is still divided. We have the Luo Nyanza, the Kisii part. The Kisii are fully behind Matiang'i, but the other side of Nyanza is not fully behind Matiang'i. So that is a problem to Dr. Fred Matiang'i, which he must address. He must get the old Nyanza behind him, ndio area zingine ziangaliwe. If he can't do that, then there's going to be a problem, ladies and gentlemen. But Jubilee believe that Dr. Fred Matiang'i is their candidate and Dr. Fred Matiang'i is going to be the president. But there's only one problem which I also want us to look at. This problem, ladies and gentlemen, is the utterances which Rigathi Gachagua delivered, the statements he delivered, when he talked about DCP being the only party in Mount Kenya. So Rigathi was trying to ignore other parties like Jubilee party, hiyo ni party tu ya nini, DPP party hizo, you know, hiyo mambo ya Mbas party, hiyo party ndogo ndogo ambazo hazieleweki. So what Rigathi was trying to say is that all the leaders in Mount Kenya waingie DCP. Now that is not a statement which Jubilee wants to hear. In fact, they have totally rejected that move, saying that lazima wao wawe na party yao. Party ni Jubilee. Na Jubilee ndio party ambayo isha produce president. According to wao wanasema kwamba Jubilee ndio party. DCP ni party ya kubahatisha, according to the Jubilee people in the mountain, led by Jeremiah Kioni. That is why you find that most of these rallies, like for instance, kuna hiyo rally ya Ukambani, Jeremiah Kioni is conspicuously missing. He is always missing in these rallies. We don't see Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in these rallies also. So Uhuru amejitenga. In fact, Uhuru amechukua backseat jingine hapo, yeah, and allowed Jeremiah Kioni to be the person delivering messages on behalf of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for Jubilee Party. So what is happening, ladies and gentlemen, here is that if should Dr. Fred Matiang'i come back, of course, Fred Matiang'i, with the help of the international body that is going to conduct the strategies for him, of campaign strategies for him, of course, that body, and of course, it's not going to be easy for him, because now we know this is RUTO in power. Now people blame him. If people blame him about the mambo mengi abduction and the like, that means sio rahisi sana, haitakuwa rahisi sana ku deal naye, lakini hiyo ndio kitu ambacho kimesemekana. So just go below in the comment section and tell us what you think about Fred Matiang'i. Remember, Fred Matiang'i na RUTO not wamekuwa hawaelewani. If you go back to the footages, or rather the videos of back then in the days when they were still a Jubilee government, Matiang'i alikuwa anatoa ma statements zingine ambazo RUTO hakuwa anafurahia. Maybe nichukue fursa hii kukuonyesha hizo video zingine ambazo za zile statement alikuwa anatoa. Hebu angalia hizo video.
I frankly don't like spending time commenting on some of these flippant and petty political things, because a lot of people lie all the time. You know, some of them now lie like a career. You know, it's like that's what they went to school to be trained. You saw those lies yesterday. You know what has happened with this election, and I said it in another meeting, that after the COVID-19 pandemic, now the new pandemic we are dealing with is the pandemic of lies. Yeah. It is the pandemic of lies. You know, people stand up and they say things that they think make sense. You know, I've been looking at politicians, and fortunately I have the opportunity of having served in cabinet. I know how a budget is drawn, and I know how much money we have in our resources to draw a budget. When a political leader, a national leader, tells people, I will put aside 150 billion for market women, I'll put aside 50 billion for boda boda. I'll put aside 100 billion for this. I know how much our budget is and the projected growth of our budget. That time you have not talked about the amount of money that you are taking to counties. You have not talked about transfers for the education sector and so on. Where are you going to get that money to provide that kind of service? You're just lying to those people because you are telling them things they want to hear. And because they won't ask you questions, you just get along with it. You know, when you keep saying there's deep state, who is that?
Yeah, those two videos, hizo ndo zile video ambazo nimemanage kucollect haraka kuonyesha, so uone kwamba wakati wakiwa in power as a Jubilee government, Matiang'i na RUTO kwa elewani. That is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. So perhaps if you're watching this video, you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Till we catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.